Popeye, we give you the facts. It's not what you think. Popeye Newsling, Young King, 1 yard, bless.
Good morning, Popeyes. Grandma watch Popeyes every morning and every night.
What am I drink? What am I think? You're listening to Popeye News Links. This is the Admiral Tibet who I represent. And remember, the time is so serious, cantankerous and dangerous. This is Popeye News Links.
The first verse of the national anthem, it goes like this. Sing with me. Yeah man, stand up. Anywhere you are right now, get up and stand up. Stand at attention. You can stand at ease. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guard us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica land we love. So, here's some out, you know, when I was singing the chorus. Boom. Listen, genius, without a purpose, I need to save from losing. In my soul, something no be.
Good morning. How are you doing? How are you doing? Are you next in line for your blessings? Or are you already blessed? Guess what? Guess what? All of us are blessed to be up this morning. All of us. Molly B. Boagwan, Andrea, Jodian, Shonda, Nigel, J. Summer, Face Show. is it okay? Face, is this cool? All right, Faye. Let me stick with Faye here. Don't want to mispronounce your name. Morning. How wanna do? Once again, today is what? Sunday, February 8th, 2026. This month is what? Black History Month. This month is Reggae Month. It's a whole heap of things, you know. But once again, we are here. Are we giving thanks for life? What you say? New York freezing? Why New York and a whole heap of other places? Talked to somebody in Florida this morning and wasn't cold like earlier in the week, but still cold. I may understand Jamaica. So some parts of Jamaica still very cold. Echo, big up yourself. We want to see a picture of Sir Popeye. He's doing a wonderful job. Angela, No worries. Soon and very soon, yeah? Soon and very soon, Angela. You see that ugly face here, yeah? Don't worry yourself. Carol Wilson, big up yourself. Gay, Milton, Nola. Enough respect. So we are here again this morning. Oh, Valentine's month. I went this Saturday. I almost forget to, you know. This Saturday is Valentine's Day. And if you are in or around the Negril area, there will be a show at Woodstock. Maxi Priest will be live in concert. I'll be talking more about it later today going forward. But Maxi Priest will be live at Woodstock for a Valentine's show this weekend. So you can check it out, Woodstock on the beach in Negril. Where on earth is not cold right now? You think I joke, Clifford? Everywhere cold right you know. Everywhere you can think of. Cold a lick. What you say? You know what I see me bitch? Me ugly face fear. So yesterday I said, hey, Cynthia, well going. I am told that today is your birthday, you know, Cynthia. Is it true? Cynthia Malcolm. Well, the person who tell me. Now I make no mistake. Somebody tell me early this morning that Cynthia, you're up in the hills of Betheltown. You work at the Betheltown police station. Them call you Mali. I am told that today is your birthday. Mali, happy birthday to you. Your family. Somebody reached out to me very close to you. But what happened is that the person sent in the greetings late, so I couldn't fix up anything. But Mali, happy birthday to you. I am told that you might be home recuperating because you did a small medical procedure. But happy birthday to you, Mali. Because remember me tell you, Betheltown, you work at Betheltown for ages, and I have spoken to a lot of, even though you're a district constable, Mali, me talk to a whole heap of red team police who pass through Betheltown. And them tell me, say, are you teach them the work? Mali, them tell me, say, are you teach them police work? So, now because you're a district constable, you're well advanced in this thing. Big up yourself here, Mali. Happy birthday to you. I'm hoping that today you're going to be having a wonderful birthday and may you live to see a whole heap more and get well soon, yeah? Get well soon. So, yesterday, Barry G, Barrington Garden, I had said yesterday would be his funeral, but it was not his funeral because Barry G's body was cremated. So it was his memorial service or something like that. But there was a memorial service held for Barry G yesterday in Kingston. And big up yourself, Mali. Big up yourself. Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself, yeah? Big up yourself. There was a memorial service held for Barry G yesterday. I'm going to be playing his eulogy that was read by Helene Coley. Is it Nicholson? Yeah, man. She used to read news and this was posted by, well, Tony Patel. You remember that long time? Remember Tony Patel? He streamed the funeral yesterday. So I'm going to play a part of the eulogy that was read by Helene Coley. Listen to this.
Barrington Seymour Gordon OD, later to become the world-renowned Barry G. the Boogeyman, was born into this world on Monday, September 26, 1956, to parents Ivy Wesley and Algie Gordon in Halifax District, St. Mary, on the beautiful island of Jamaica. Barry was raised by his grandmother, Sarah May Gordon, also known as Miss Dolly, a teacher, and his grandfather, Aaron Leslie Gordon, a farmer. Barry was fond of his grandparents, especially his grandmother, and with time, this fondness would develop into love, admiration, respect, and great appreciation. Story after story, Barry talked about the values, the standards, the morals his grandmother instilled in him from a tender age. Barry credited his grandmother, as the person who shaped him into the man we knew, one of the greatest broadcasters who took Jamaica to the world long before that phrase was ever spoken. Not true? True. Miss Dolly always ensured Barry read the newspaper out loud to her and to Mas Aaron so that wherever they were in the house, they could hear him. It was a simple exercise with immense importance that strengthened Barry's inquisitive mind, unique speaking voice, and love for reading, writing, and learning at an early age. Growing up as a country boy in the parish of St. Mary, Barry came from the humblest of beginnings. And back then, he didn't have much, but he had a dream to one day be in media. As testament of how far Barry would come from those early days, picture him as a little boy trotting home on rainy days from Goshen Primary School. Little Barry would take off his school shoes, the only pair he had, and put them inside his shirt to stop them from getting soaked by the rain. Little did he know that one day he would leave behind a legacy far greater than a closet full of his favorite Clark shoes. Barry pursued his dream of becoming a broadcaster with uncommon diligence. He worked hard at primary school, achieving exceptional grades. He passed his common entrance exam. He matriculated to high school in the city, the much vaunted Kingston College. At North Street, Barry excelled academically all the way up to and throughout sixth form. He had an immense love for the arts, particularly English and languages, including French. These were his favorite subjects, and so, of course, he mastered them. While at KC, Barry joined the Kingston College Chapel Choir, where he sang and perfected his musical talent playing the piano. From the time he was a little boy, Barry had an ambition to become one of the best broadcasters on the airwaves in Jamaica. So as soon as he graduated from Kingston College in 1974, he planted himself in the center of where he could pursue that dream. And that was, of course, the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, the JBC. In 1975, as a National Youth Service worker, Barry started working as a production assistant at JBC. He learned fast and had what could be described as a fiery passion for the art of radio. It was not long before Barry was assigned to do Soapbox, a Vox Pop program that would help develop his interview skills and radio persona. Barry became known as the man in the streets during his time on Soapbox. He interviewed people from all walks of life, heard their perspectives on the questions of the day, and manually edited the reel-to-reel tapes containing the programs that would go on air. Fast forward to one Saturday when Uriel Aldridge could not do the Boogeyman show. Aired Saturday nights from 8:30 to midnight. Well, Barry convinced the station manager he could do it, and the rest is, of course, history. Barry conquered it with his likability, his ability to make people feel good, and a powerful, captivating quality that drew people into his radio presence. In other words, Barry mashed it up. So good was Barry G. The show was eventually extended to 2 hours, by 2 hours, to 2 a.m. As time progressed, Barry also progressed. Now, can an ocean wave stay on the shore? He was like a force of nature, In addition to the Boogeyman show, Barry was given a program aired weekdays in the evenings called Turntable Time. Then Winston Barnes left JBC for Florida. Barry G, the Boogeyman, took over Barnes' 2 to 6 Supermix on afternoon radio. He was unstoppable in his ascension as king of the turntable, king of afternoon radio. Barry's name became a brand. It spread like wildfire. He got so many gigs and offers from people who wanted to work with him that he started a company called Gold Rush Promotion. And who can forget Wada Disco, a sound system based in Mandeville, which was one of the many collaborations with Barry during his lifetime. Barry's radio jingles, famous. They were his signature for generations of Jamaican families and became a clock that said afternoon radio had started. Barry was not just a disc jock. He was a broadcaster with an encyclopedic knowledge of Jamaican music. In his unique style, Barry G was known for imparting knowledge and interesting information. He saw the Gleaner newspaper as competition and aimed to break news on the radio before it appeared in print. Every schoolboy and schoolgirl, teachers, parents, aunties, uncles knew that once you heard a certain jingle, it was time to sit down and listen to Barry G, listen to what he had to say, what he had to teach you on the feature Brainstorm. Brainstorm was created in the early 2000s, and everyone tried to say Barry's famous tongue twister for the series. Brainstorm, for those who know, those who don't know, for those who want to know, for those who think they know, but don't know they don't know. His listeners formed the Barry G family. Hundreds of them turned out for sessions that blocked roads and rocked communities across Jamaica, including deep rural places where such a thing had never been seen before. The fan club had a secretary and others who handled copious amounts of mail and received and answered letters that Barry could not begin to manage on his own. Whenever people caught a glimpse of Barry outside of the studio, they would race up to him, eager to repeat the Brainstorm slogan. It always made his day, and Barry loved his listeners, always took time to talk to each of them outside the studio after his show at 5, or on location after every outside broadcast when they eagerly waited for him. As Barry G's fame grew, so did the demand for his talent. The local stations wanted him. Broadcast networks from the diaspora, the Caribbean, further overseas wanted him. But Barry decided to go to RJR in 1987. He spent 8 months at RJR, where he increased the station's listenership before deciding to move back to JBC in 1989. His audience followed him when he moved between radio stations. When he joined the JBC, it became #1, pulling listeners from RJR. And similarly, when he moved to RJR, it regained its top spot, surpassing its best listenership numbers. In 1990, Barry tied the knot with the love of his life and forever lady, Josette. Josette and Barry met at an event where he was the master of ceremonies. As remembered by Barry, when he met her, he knew she was to be his wife. After Barry and Josette tied the knot, Barry continued at JBC and then left for the second time to go to Power 106 in 2001. Barry dedicated 3 years to Power 106 before moving to Hot 102 and then KLAS FM in 2005. By the way, I worked at all of them too. 2007 would be the year that changed Barry's outlook on life. It was the year he suffered his first stroke. It made him realize how important it was to take care of his health. Barry's first vow was to his wife, Josette. His second vow was to advocate and promote physical health and well-being. And so he created the Barry G. Health Foundation. The Barry G. Health Foundation was a charitable organization that allowed Barry to give back to his listeners and people in the Jamaican community. Barry's story and health issues resonated with his audience and drove the success of the foundation. Through the foundation, Barry was able to help thousands of Jamaicans by his humanitarian efforts. As Barry's foundation grew, so did his name. Stations everywhere were jostling to get him to work and partner with them. Networks in England sent him offer after offer with deals they hoped he would accept. But Barry loved his little life in Jamaica. Coming home to Josette and his family after a long day in the studio was something he cherished. So he declined their offers and chose to remain in Jamaica. This decision led Barry to Mellow FM in 2010. And in 2010, Barry was conferred with Jamaica's Order of Distinction, OD, in recognition of his outstanding contribution to radio broadcasting and service to the nation. The Barry G train continued to pick up steam. The Barry G show became the most streamed radio show in Jamaica. It was played everywhere in cars, taxis, buses, streamed online, locally and abroad. People could not get enough of the man who had returned to take the airwaves by storm. The Barry G Show aired from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., Mondays to Fridays. In January 2020, Barry signed off his last show on Mellow FM after 11 years of phenomenal work and service. But Barry was not done yet. Barry always had a dream of owning his own station. He wanted to create a hands-on environment where he could mentor young minds who were eager to learn the art of broadcasting. Barry realized he had reached the pinnacle of his career, where he had perfected as best he could the art of radio and broadcasting. He was hungry to pass on his knowledge by teaching the youth. Josette knew of his dream, as it had been something he always spoke about with their family. And so began Lion Rock Radio and the Barry G Studios. In December of 2020, Josette surprised Barry with a Christmas gift that made him feel the most seen and heard he had ever felt before: his very own studio. Barry's studios consisted of his office, studio lobby, production studio, recording studio, and his favorite, his broadcasting studio. Barry felt right at home immediately and got straight to work on the vision he had. He had producers, engineers, and aspiring broadcasters coming to work with him hands-on. It was during this time that he mentored them one by one towards radio excellence. Barry's mentoring, however, did not begin with his new studios, nor did it start with the youth he brought in. It first began with one of his very own. Barry and Josette had stepped in to help raise their goddaughter and niece, Jaden, alongside her mom. Barry considered Jaden one of his own and would often refer to her as his daughter. It was through their relationship and inseparable bond that Barry's trust and confidence in Jaden became cemented. The foundation of trust was the basis on which he would later ask her to become his manager. At just 16 years old, Barry took Jaden under his wings and started equipping and mentoring her concerning everything she would need to know about the radio and broadcasting industry as his manager. He taught her everything he taught himself. And after 7 years of mentoring and working closely together, Jaden became more than just Barry's manager. She became his right hand for such a time as this. As Barry continued to inspire and pass on his knowledge, it was not long after that word spread of the Barry G Studios, and people from the small town of Savlamar would come and stand outside his studios, hoping to talk with Barry when he arrived before his show at 1. The studio had many visitors every single day, and Barry, being the person he was, always took the time to sit and talk with them. In his lifetime, Barry earned a place in the pantheon of Jamaican legends. His influence inspired generations of young people to pursue radio, and his sound and style were often emulated. In Barry's career, the word exceptional was imprinted on all his work. He had the voice of a giant, one that was loved in countless Jamaican households. His personality was captivating and infectious. There was never a dull moment when he carried out his passion for entertaining. Barry was recognized as a global ambassador in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Japan for his 2-6 Super Mix and his famous clashes with other renowned disc jocks and artists. The Slang Tang Wake Up Rodigan Slang Tang Clash, known as the Clash of '85, with his close friend and brother, David Rodigan, has to this day been dubbed as the most iconic clash in reggae dancehall and disc jock history. Throughout Barry's life, there was hardship and there were obstacles. Barry had no ordinary life. He came from simple roots to a national stage at the age of 16. Barry reflected deeply on this and realized that the one person whom he had not given back to was God. The one who had blessed his efforts of hard work, made it possible for him to succeed. So in July 2022, Barry made public his confession of faith in Jesus Christ and got baptized. He got baptized at the Kirkham Baptist Church in George's Plain in Westmoreland, with his pastor and trusted friend, the Reverend Carlton Wilson, present, and a few of his church family and relatives present. Barry was thoroughly immersed in the baptismal pool. And not long after, on the same day, word spread via social media that the great broadcasting veteran Barry G. the Boogeyman had been baptized. After his commitment to God, Barry's show took a shift from its regular programming to a mix of gospel music. Barry wanted to honor God in everything he did, and to him, this was one of the ways he knew how. There were cases where Barry's show touched the heart of listeners, many of whom gave their lives to the Lord after hearing his testimony. Barry signed off for the last time on radio, October 29, 2025, after 50 years in broadcasting and 69 years of a life well lived. Barry was more than a veteran broadcaster. He was a hero to many people whose lives he touched and changed. He opened doors of success for many people whom others would have simply passed over. He shared his success and his accolades whenever he worked, and he was never selfish or hesitant about it. Barry used the struggles he faced with his health as a fresh wind that made his wings soar. To use another metaphor, Barry ended his race with a living hope, having fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith. Now there is in store for him the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to him, and not only to him, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. How do we remember Barry? His life exemplified excellence, perseverance, mindfulness, patience, confidence, determination, kindness, humility, love, and care for others. A philanthropist, Barry's passing leaves a void in the heart of his family members, including his beloved Josette, his children, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, his beloved media family, listeners, colleagues, and Jamaica's broadcasting industry. Despite his fame and achievements, Barry walked humbly with man and with God. He had a stature that stood taller than his physical height. Barry earned and deserved our love and or respect.
Barry G, the boogeyman. You know, I grew up when I was in high school. We used to listen to Barry G. A whole heap, and everybody I try to talk like Barry G, you know. But I met Barry G in 2000. Well, I used to go shows and see him my MC, and I met him in 2001 or 2000, thereabout. But my good friend Crazy Chris used to run a studio. Let me just cut off this. All right. Used to run a studio in Savannah Lamar, upstairs, 35 Plaza. And I used to go down there because I used to play music, and I used to go there, go try and make dub plate for me little sound. And Barry G used to come there, and him do a whole heap of jingles for me at the time. From there, I try to find them, but that computer crashed and all these things. But Barry G, trust me, one of the most, you see, some people, you hear them on radio, and you hear them, yes, and meeting Barry G and talking to him, very down-to-earth person. Very, very, very down-to-earth person. I have so much respect for Barry G, and that is why last year, May? Yeah, May 2025, I went to his wife's business place, uptown. There's a building across from, right beside the NHT in Sav, upstairs. And I went and I spoke with Josette. And I was telling Josette that I introduced myself because she didn't know me. Well, she knew me, but she didn't know it was me, Popeye. So I tell her, I would have really loved to interview Barry G. And she said she will consider it, and I should leave my number. And I left my number, and I was hoping I would have get the call and say, yes, come interview Barry. But that was never to be. It was on the day after Hurricane Melissa. So I was driving past somewhere, and somebody said to me, tell me that somebody died. But the name they call. There is I won't repeat the name, but there is a gentleman in and around Savannah Lamar who everybody used to call him Barry G. I won't tell you what they call him now, or what's his new name. But everybody used to call him Barry G. So apparently, somebody was saying that person died, but they didn't say Barry G. So when I heard that person died, there was hardly any phone communication after Melissa. So I drove straight to Dialy's funeral home, and I asked them if that person died, and them said no, man, and them check around, and everybody said no, they not pick up that person since morning. They pick up quite a few bodies, but they didn't pick up that person, and I confirmed that it wasn't the person. So it was when I was leaving. Now one of the guys said to me, "Papa, mine Barry G, the person I'm talking about. Ambassador used to call that man Barry G. So I say, what happened with Barry G? He say, yeah, man, we go for Barry G this morning. So I say, what happened? Yeah, Junior, yeah, Josette was in the audience. Because I saw her walking with the urn, with Barry G's urn and stuff. She was in the audience, man. So it was then I knew that Barry G passed away. They picked him up the morning after Hurricane Melissa. Barry G, one Barry G. Remember me tell you, that voice there. When we grew up, everybody had tried to talk like Barry G. As a matter of fact, when I was in school, over at Osamarty, there was a gentleman over there named Mr. Bembridge, a teacher. And Mr. Bembridge, he used to be the MC for every event because he sounded so much like Barry G, you know? But may Barry G's soul find rest. One Barry G. Remember me tell you. You know, growing up here about Barry G and Radigan Barry G. All our Helene Coley say. See him so it go. See him so it go, you know? One Barry G. So let us move on to the newspapers. One Barry G, never two. Just it was in the audience. I know it was a coordination with the minister of Babsy Grange and her family. And they had a big input in this memorial. There's a lot of persons saying all kind of things, but this memorial service was done in coordination with Josette, Barry G's wife, and Barry G's wife and the minister of Babsy Green, Minister of Culture. So it's not like what some people are saying. Anyhow, start time. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. So, may Barry G's soul find rest. One Barry G. One Barry G. Never two. Trust me. Humble human being. Remember me tell you. Remember me tell you. So let us move on to the Jamaica Gleaner. Leading off the Gleaner, double murder on Fairfield Avenue in St. Andrew. We'll be talking more about that in the news coming up later. 13-year-old girl dies after being hit by a vehicle in Manchester. The Manchester police are investigating the death of a teen girl who died after being hit by a vehicle on Friday. She has been identified by the police as 13-year-old Lakia Thompson, who lived in the parish. She was a student at Victor Dixon High School in Manchester. Reports are that about 3:45 p.m. on Friday, Thompson was in the Mayday district of Manchester when she was ran over by a truck. The 45-year-old truck driver was warned for prosecution. Now, the fact that the driver was warned for prosecution doesn't mean he will be prosecuted. In case you didn't know, whenever any accidents like this happen, the police has to issue what them call a warning notice to the driver, right? The law requires that. So the police issue him a warning notice that it is possible that you might be charged. They carry out the investigation, whether he's charged or not. All right? So, that over there. So, the police is warning against buying beef after chemically treated cattle stolen in St. Mary. Members of the public, particularly residents of Rose End, St. Mary, and surrounding areas, are being warned by the police against purchasing beef following the theft of a herd of cows that were recently treated with chemicals rendering the meat unfit for consumption. The police reports that a farmer had tied 11 cows on a plot of farmland in the community before retiring to bed for the night. Around 6 o'clock Friday morning, a family member who oversees the property went to check on the cattle and discovered that they were missing. The police say 2 of the cows were later found slaughtered on the property, one of which was carrying a fully developed calf. A veterinarian who visited the scene reportedly told the police that the animals were recently injected with chemicals, making the meat unsafe for human consumption. Now, this not only affect residents surrounding Rosen in St. Mary, you know, because me almost sure say them cow thief, yeah, them now go sell back the meat in a Rosen. So we are talking about no way in a Jamaica not safe as far as the meat are concerned. No way. Why, it's serious, you know? Serious. Man dies after being hit by a tree in St. Mary. A piece of news we have started off with, you know. The police in St. Mary are investigating the death of a man who died after a tree fell on him. He has been identified as 50-year-old laborer Calfat Hugo of Belfield District in the parish of St. Mary. Reports are that about 10:45 on Friday, Hugo was hit by a falling tree and he sustained severe injuries. He was assisted to the Port Maria Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Sad indeed. So the front page of the Gleaner is 4 banks, $252 million hit. If you click on the article, it won't open, but you remember they charge a doctor named Chloe Dowitt and some others the other day for scamming. Some scamming the banks. Apparently, one of the persons whose property was sold fictitiously is now suing the bank. Are the banks? I think CIBC and 3 other banks. Dangerous precedent. Now you'll be following the attack. I spoke about it, where Darrell Vaz, the Auditor General, flagged him for breaching procurement policies when he signed off on a letter authorizing the purchase of 200 Starlink devices. Vaz came out and said him not apologize. He no make no apology. And from all indication, he's saying that he would do it again because at the time it required that type of action. My thing is, I want to know who get the contract for buy them thing here. Anyhow, advocates say accepting vast explanation undermine public administration. Accountability advocates are warning that accepting good intentions as justification for breaching procurement laws could undermine Jamaica's system of public administration, following an Auditor General's finding that Senior Government Minister Darrell Vaz improperly acquired 200 Starlink devices after Hurricane Melissa. Jeanette Calder, Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, said while she does not question Vaz's sincerity, endorsing his actions could create a precedent allowing public officials to disregard the law whenever urgency is claimed. She argued that if the country and the head of the government, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, accepted Vaz's explanation as justification for the procurement breaches, then the entire public administration framework could collapse. Jeanette Calder is of the view that if the minister's infraction is not reproved, it would send a signal that any government official can violate laws by claiming good intentions and urgencies or urgency. On what legal basis would the Prime Minister reject their claims if he accepts Minister Darrell Vaz's claims? That are that. Now, there are some things happening. Hold on, let me check out the comments. I don't want to see. I don't want to see. Darrell Vaz, boy, I tell you, I don't see him that, No apology, the man say, I know who get the contract. There was a 700 million, well, me not see that, J Summer. This is saying, the Auditor General is saying 200. There are some things happening down one of the most trustworthy branch in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, CTAC. I get a peep on the force orders of the Jamaica Constabulary Force that is issued every week. And when I look Friday, the head of CTAC and about 30 other police stations at CTAC were transferred to different formations in the force. And, in August last year, I get a call from 2 people over by Hanover, Orange Bay side, down that side there. And they told me something, Them tell me, say, Papa, some CTAC police sees a whole heap of coke. That are from August last year, And subsequent to that, I spoke to some links I have in the force in Kingston. And them tell me, say, Papa, some CTAC police rotten rich. Me say, what you mean by that? Them tell me, say, the man them find some coke down at Hanover, and the coke them carry a portion, but them share up a portion. So when I heard, when I see the news that an inspector from CTAC was arrested for cocaine, a portion of coke. When I heard that an audit was done at CTAC and coke was found in the storeroom that should not be there, I was not surprised. But you see, the thing is, CTAC was one of the branch in the force where people have a lot of faith and trust in. You would hear Sir P always talk about CTAC. Anyhow, the commissioner take a hands-on approach. So he announced new special investigation branch. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake has announced the establishment of the Special Investigation Branch, SIB, following the reassignment of personnel from CTAC, or the former CTAC. You see what the cleaner say? The former CTAC. You know what that means? CTAC is no more. CTAC was a specialized unit responsible for investigating serious crimes, including financial fraud, cybercrime, human trafficking, narcotics trafficking, and intellectual property theft. The new SIB represents a consolidation of several investigative teams into a single unit. The announcement was made in the Commissioner's Weekly Force Orders that was published on Friday. Explaining the policy shift, the Commissioner said the move aligns with the JCF's modernization initiative and is intended to strengthen operational synergy. Anyway, let me go down. The announcement follows recent developments involving CTAC personnel. Weeks ago, Inspector Martin Walker, who was assigned to CTAC, was arrested after being found with cocaine during what the JCF described as an intelligence-led operation. Personnel from narcotics, they conducted an operation at a bar in Kingston 4 on January 8th, during which the inspector was detained. He went to court and was granted $2.5 million bail. Soon after, the JCF announced leadership changes within CTAC. FNID was also removed from CTAC oversight. Assistant Commissioner of Police, Dr. Anthony McLaughlin, was reassigned to Forensic Services Branch. It was also reported that Senior Superintendent Christopher Brown would assume leadership of CTAC. So, why may I tell you, why may I tell you? I'll call in Daryl fast. Okay. A long time that I go on. So I cover it up. People always talking about overseas and US. Okay. So CTAC has been disbanded. So it's a new branch now. I mean, I tell you, it's a whole heap of good work CTAC do, It's a whole heap of criminals CTAC send home, Either send go to prison or send to the morgue, Whole heap of good work CTAC did. And then, this is the culmination of CTAC. Why I tell you? This is the end, eh? Anyhow, let's continue with the Gleaner. Young reggae boys take and hear me talking about West Indies and the T20. Well, West Indies give me something to smile about yesterday. Although I didn't watch it. I am hoping to watch them next match. Call me our organist if you want, but that's for your business. But them disappoint me too much, man. Me have a reason name for watch them. Because if West Indies didn't really allow Scotland to beat them in the World Cup. West Indies fast bowler Romario Shepherd took 4 Scotland wickets in 5 balls, including a hat-trick. And Fahim Ashraf's late assault rescued Pakistan in a 3-wicket win over the Netherlands. The US gave India a huge scare in Mumbai before the captain saved his team with 84 not out of 49 balls. So, West Indies, let me go and see if they're giving me some more details on the West Indies win. Let me see how they win. in the afternoon match at Kolkata, West Indies had a 35-run victory over Scotland, which replaced Bangladesh at late notice in Group C. So West Indies had a 35-run win over Scotland. All right, let's see. Let's hope that put a little pep in them step for the next match. And talking about World Cup, talking about World Cup. Talking about World Cup. From the other day, I did a search because I wanted to do this before the time run out. We were talking about the tickets, the ticket price for the World Cup. Now, here are the ticket prices for the football FIFA World Cup tickets coming up. There's a $60. There are tickets, the cheapest tickets for $60, but that come with a price. That $60 ticket come with a price. Let me go down. I will see what that price is. So, category 4 tickets for the World Cup is between $60 to $105. That are the lowest ticket you can get for the World Cup. Between $60 and $105. Category 1, which we call it, grandstand or nearer to the field, from $345 to $620. And that are for the group stage match. The opener, the host openers, the lowest, $355 to $560. The highest, almost $2,000 to over $2,700. And we are talking about US dollars, you know. The round of 32 games, so different, but for the $60, all right. Host nation premiums, opening matches for the USA, Mexico, and Canada carry a heavy premium. For example, the cheapest public seat for a US opener in Los Angeles is $560, while category 1 reaches $2,735. So here is how you will be able to get a ticket for $60. Here is how you'll be able to get a ticket for $60. If Jamaica qualify for the World Cup, FIFA is gonna give the Reggae Boys 1,000 tickets at $60 each for the Reggae Boys team to sell back to their supporters, what them call supporter tier, or what them call supporter tier, the $60 supporter tier. These tickets are limited to approximately 1,000 per match and are distributed by individual national federations to their most loyal fans. So, if Jamaica no qualify, you would have to support the USA team. And you are seen as one of them loyal fans. You know, say Jamaica now go get none of them ticket there if Jamaica no qualify. You understand? But the ticket prices, so I was saying the other day, say, World Cup tickets, not cheap. And why I was talking about that is that if, remember the US Embassy, they are saying that you can apply, they are inviting persons to apply for visa to attend the World Cup. So I was saying, if you plan on going to the embassy, we tell them, say, you want to go to World Cup, you must be able to show that you can afford it, because plane ticket in and around the World Cup time now go cheap. And I was saying, Ticket to the matches, nah go cheap neither. Hotel prices, nah go cheap. So that is why I bring that back, bring up back that. So let me go over to the easy 1, 2, 3. Yes, brother, happens all okay. Let me go over to the Jamaica Observer and see what's going on over there. The Jamaica Observer. There was an article, man killed in Harborview, police operation. All right. Let me go to today's article. Adoption bottleneck. Persons are trying to adopt and light at last. Light at last. After 3 months and 6 days in darkness, residents of Potsdam district in St. Elizabeth erupted in cheers last Tuesday when they flipped their switches and saw the familiar flicker of light, finally restored after being without the utility since the passage of Hurricane Melissa last year. So, little by little, communities getting back light. And for those who were asking if Josette was at the memorials at the Thanksgiving service yesterday, there she is on your screen with Barry G's remains in her hand. There she is. Josette Garden, Barry G's widow, who was the urn containing the remains of veteran broadcaster during his Thanksgiving service at the Boulevard Baptist Church in St. Andrew yesterday. Let me move on in the sports news. Let me go down here, so. So let me go back up here in the Observer. So me all over the place, but that's how the thing said, you know. West Indies still a keep, man. We are talking about Sharon. I'm gonna close off with an article from the editorial of the Gleaner, because we're talking about what Darrell Voss would have said, and there the Gleaner's editorial is trash the rules, then dash with the rules. If Darrell Voss can come out and say rate, make we no bother with the rules. So the Gleaner is saying the urgency imposed by post-term relief, notwithstanding, there was nothing inevitable about the breach of the government's procurement rules, as identified by the Auditor General in a real-time review of some of the government's purchases after Hurricane Melissa. If anything, Pamela Monroe Ellis' audit revealed 3 facts. 1, that the public bureaucracy seems immune to learning from history, so consistently does the same thing with predictably bad outcomes. 2, that at the time of Hurricane Melissa, the ODPEM had so lost its way as to be confused about its role, and that its operating and accountability systems were badly broken or severely trashed. And 3, that the clear and deliberately crafted lines between the political executive and the permanent civil service had become blurred or intentionally trampled on. The result is a diminution of national accountability and the opening of space for people with malintent. That this may not have happened in the present case is beyond the point. There is no disclaiming the severity of Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 storm that slammed into Western Jamaica and the emergency situation it created. The hurricane caused nearly $9 billion in damage, left thousands of people homeless, and severely disrupted telecommunication systems in the western third of the island. In these circumstances, the government had to act quickly to provide emergency relief, which also meant having the capacity to communicate in the affected region. With respect to the latter, the communications component, the government spent $12.12 million to purchase 200 kits to provide internet connectivity via Starlink, the low latency satellite network owned by Elon Musk, SpaceX. While ADPEM paid for the devices, having been so directed to do, the procurement was not initiated by that agency. That was done by the Energy Minister, Viewz, acting in his capacity as co-chair of the Hurricane Relief and Recovery Oversight Committee. Mr. Viewz's letter to ADPEM instructing it to pay was 2 days after the date of the supplier's invoice, a day before the delivery of the devices to the police station for distribution. It was 5 days after the delivery of the goods that ADPEM played catch-up by preparing internal procurement documentation for the purchase. So the goods, the Starlink, were bought before any letter or anything was written. Oh. Said the Auditor General, the engagement of the supplier by the minister breached Section 20 of the Public Procurement Act 2015, which places direct responsibility for all procurement activities on the head of the procuring entity. This means that only the accountable officer or the head of the entity is legally empowered to initiate procurement, and there is no provision in law which allows the minister / co-chair of the committee to approve or initiate commitments, select suppliers, or give directives to ADPEM for payments. And that is all that Viewz did. Mr. Viewz said he would do it again. There are sound reasons for the division, the assignment of policy to elected officials, and the day-to-day management of the affairs of government is the purview of the permanent civil service. Elected leaders have democratic accountability to the national constituency via the for policies implemented by a government. But the permanent, politically neutral civil service, when these three systems falter, the potential for corruption rises, including the partisan allocation of state resources. While Mr. Viewz may have acted with good intentions by bypassing established procurement rules, he perverted a system to which he was obliged to adhere. me want to know who got the contract. That is what is most important to me. Who is it that got the contract? Attention, attention. Me come, but me not stop because you not say nothing. You and the P Minister. Let me see this. You and the P Minister and Miss Van, you all in the same and study the news meet first before you get in the studio. Who is this? Kachita Lawrence. What Kachita say? Attention, attention. Me come, but me not stop. Then keep on moving. Make sure you have to subscribe before you come watch. What good, Kachita Lawrence. What good. Viewz got the contract. Milton is saying this is Viewz last term, so he don't care. Hey, Daryl Viewz, you know, man, it's a different kettle of fish that, you know. The man say that. The man say he not apologize. Eh? Hey, Barry, what go on, Barry? How is it where you are? Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself. Who is Kachita? Kachita, the first. Me I see that person you comment, you know. What is it? What the person say? Me that because you not say nothing. So Kachita come on and say me not say nothing because me and the prime and maybe it's a Miss Van, but I think them Kachita mean to say Mr. Viewz. Hold on there. Refresh that page. Okay. You and them all in the same and study the news meet first before you get in the studio. Learn for construct something, man. Learn for construct your statement before you come out here and chat fat. Yeah. That is why we make a thing run by the screen, you know, so people can see the fat when you come here, right? You come here. Can you construct a good statement? Anyhow, big up on yourself. Thanks for joining. When you say complicated, Jason, why when things go wrong, the civil servants never get the blame? It's always the minister's head everyone call for. I don't rank Mr. Viewz. He use emergency powers. Well, if Mr. Viewz take you upon himself, fill in, and go sign a letter, and do all these things why enough to do, who forget the blame? The civil servant? No must Mr. Viewz forget the blame. Him know what the rule is, and him know say. Mr. Viewz is not saying him not breach the rule, you know. He's saying he would do it again because the urgency requires, and the situation requires him to do it. So, civil servant can't get no liquor, so. Because I him go take you upon himself and go do what him need to do. So, apparently, he might get the beating what he deserve. But my biggest thing is, you know, me want to know who get the contract. That's what me want to know. Who was it that got the contract? And I'm hoping somebody investigate and tell us. Because me not going to beat Mr. Viewz, you know. Because, yes, he might have been acting in a good faith. Because the police stations and everywhere in Western Jamaica really needed the communication. Them really need it. So me not go knock him to that extent. Yes, he breached the rule. But like PJ Patterson did say one time, the law is not a shackle. You know? He breached the rule as far as that is concerned. My thing is, and why me hold back a little bit, is me want to know who get the contract. Yeah? So me not go join and say, boy, I did have bad intention and this $12 million and buy 200 Starlink. Nothing much can. You understand? But me want to know who get the contract. Anyway, that. Yeah? Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, tomorrow morning we'll be back earlier We'll be back at 6:45 tomorrow because on weekdays, we are here earlier in the mornings. On weekends, we come out 7:15. Once again, thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend to tell a friend. Live, love, and laugh. Blessed love, everybody.